This is the Rollover reaction show to last night's 1-0 defeat against Wrexham. Another game without a goal for us, so it's getting a very, very poor dry spell now in front of goal for us. We're going to react to that, and then we're also going to look forward to this weekend's game as we welcome Birmingham City. So let's get stuck into it. So, Tracy, again, another game where we failed to score, but a little bit of a different sort of way in which it played out, of not as dominant as we've seen sort of over the last previous weeks in terms of Cambridge, Reading, and Bristol Rovers, where we really just could do anything but score, although we did score against two of those, but couldn't get the win. It is becoming a little bit of a problem now that we are struggling so much in front of goal. When you look at the number of chances we're creating as well.
Yeah, I don't think we created as many chances yesterday at all. I thought that was probably more of the concern. We've been saying, haven't we, previously, that we've been creating chances, we've just not been able to convert them. Whereas I thought last night we didn't really create much. Certainly not a lot of quality in the final third at all. We had a lot of endeavour, I suppose, and a lot of huffing and puffing, but we didn't really sort of create any clear-cut chances, apart from probably Jallows, you would say, was probably the best chance of the night, and maybe he should have done better, but the keeper, to be fair, pulled off a decent save. Yeah, I mean, we didn't expect us to run them ragged, because I actually thought Wrexham were going to be better than what they were. So you're right, Josh, in that when you said you didn't think they'd been that, I don't think they were that great either. I thought to watch the game was two quite average sides. If you were just watching that game as a neutral, I don't think either side were particularly great. We started positive. I mean, we started strong and willing and closing down and pressing, and I thought they were a bit shell-shocked, thinking, cracky, what's this is here? But again, we didn't do anything. Like, we dominated, but we don't punish. We just don't punish teams. We can dominate possession, we can dominate where we are on the pitch for short periods, but we never seem to punish. And it's back to the same old story as with nobody that can finish. I thought Humphreys had a few sort of chances where he could have made a better decision and put other players in. Phillips, who had a very average game, to be polite to him, he had a below average game, and then he had one chance where he just passed it back to the keeper. DKD, non-existent. I don't feel for him, because I don't think we're playing him particularly in a great position, and we certainly aren't giving him quality balls. But yeah, it was disappointing, and obviously the goal conceding when we did. I've seen a few Wrexham saying, "Oh, we deserve the win." I don't think they did deserve the win. I think a 0-0 draw would have just about summed that game up. The goal was poor defensively again, because he ran past sort of John Russell, who didn't really make much of an effort to get back, and then Pine sort of came to closing down, but didn't really. And then it was a decent finish, but from outside the box there with what wasn't his dominant foot, I thought was very disappointing. So yeah, and again, it's one of them, like we said against Bristol. You've all that endeavour, all that effort for nothing. And now again I heard Darryl Clark afterwards say, I've got to pick the lads back up. It's really low in the dressing room, and that's things that we don't really want to hear.
No, that is right. As Tracy mentioned there, sort of we began the game and sort of set about Wrexham quite well, I thought, in the first 10, 15 minutes. They're almost seemed like they were a bit shocked at sort of the intensity in which we began with, and it set off nicely. But I think the one thing that probably sums up this little bit of a poor run we're on is when DKD got slid in the first, I think it was 7 minutes, and instead of hitting it first time when he got the space, he checked back onto his right, then tried to beat a man, then he cannoned off one of their defenders and he got smothered in the end of it. It just seems to be that minute that we just can't get, just not working on instinct in front of goal, and it's almost like the lads are struggling on confidence a little bit.
Definitely are. We started, come out at traps, didn't we, and took game to them. I mean, I should have been there, but my chest infection stopped me. But no, they took game to them. I thought, oh, this is good. We're going to give them a game here. We can really get on top at Racecourse Ground, but it didn't turn out that way. I think too many of our players, again, didn't turn up and left us weak all over pitch. Akeef's delivery wasn't really good to get balls across. As Tracy says, DKD. I can't understand why when he were at Mansfield, they were all this, big hitter and all scoring goals. he's not producing. He's every so often he's popping up and getting us a goal, isn't he? But we're not getting supply. Midfield, final third, very poor last night, very poor. And I thought, keep going. Okay, half time, 0-0, regroup, get started again. Let's try and get 3 points. As I say, we've not won for a few games, and you think, we can do this. But then, as I say, late on, it was 68 minutes before we actually had a shot on target. And it wasn't really a shot. It was a back pass from Adam Phillips. And then Jallo came on and he looked lively and he tested their third choice keeper who come on as a sub. Decent save. But we didn't really pressure them or put them under that much pressure at back as far as I'm concerned. And that's well, not good enough. It isn't good enough. And I'm thinking, we can come away with a point. I said we'd draw one apiece, and I'm quite happy if we'd have took a point. But for that goal on 92 minutes, what can you say? Well, like Moses passing at waves, wasn't it? He run straight down centre at field, and nobody got a challenge in. And then he scored, according to what Gaffer says, with his weaker foot. So I think it's poor. It's poor on our behalf. And I don't think Pines made any difference when he come on. So I think with players, what we're getting off bench to try and change things. So January is a big, big window to get things right. And we dropped down to 8th, haven't we? And all teams above us have games in hand, except Wrexham.
Yeah, start of the season, though, I wouldn't really say most of it expected to be up there as such. But Craig, 4 points now from the newly promoted sides we've taken. We've played all of them, beating Crawley, drawing against Stockport and losing to both Mansfield and Wrexham. I get that 3 of those 4 sides who've come up are all doing well this season, have taken to this league very well. But at the start of the season, when you look at a side that's finished 6th last season, and Mladen said we've got a substantially bigger budget this season than what we have last year, you'd expect to see progression to the point where a League Two side that's come up, and one of them we have taken their best player off them, that we should be above those sides. And granted, there's no guarantees in this game, but on the face of it, it's not a good look against the sides that have just come up this season.
Well, it's all right him saying we've got a bigger budget. I think our team's getting weaker every season. We seem to be losing better players than we're recruiting. And I think it's showing. It's showing on pitch. It's showing in the results. It's showing. Look at league table now. I mean, we're slowly dropping down. We've not got much coming off at bench to be able to help us. It's yesterday's game. The worst thing about watching a football match is watching a match like that where there's not very much going off, but seeing a team outwork your team is something that you don't want to see. And we watched it for a vast proportion of that game yesterday. They worked harder than we did. They run more than we did. They closed down better than we did. And
I think I would say though to that, like, we had just played 120 minutes at weekend and they didn't.
Well, then you don't play all your first team in a cup game, do you? I mean, I'm sorry, but if you can't play 2 games a week, then you shouldn't be a professional footballer.
Oh no, it's not that. It's going to be a difference. So if you're playing against a set of other professional players, they're just going to be more fresh because they didn't run about for 2 hours.
What, running out for 2 hours is going to wreck your week, is it?
Well, no, but they're running about for 2 hours on Saturday. Then have to do the exact same thing on Tuesday. So you've got Sunday and Monday to chill out, and then
I don't see many other teams complaining about stuff like that.
No, it's not that. I'm just saying the offset.
Champions League players do it all the time.
I mean, I'd look at Rodgers' interview about that for moaning about the amount of games they have to play. But I'm just saying, Wrexham didn't have a game at the weekend. We did, and we somehow managed to play the maximum amount of time that you can.
Yeah, but well, whatever excuses are, they outworked us, and that's the reason why they won. I don't think they deserved the goal that they got. But I think if any team was going to win, it was going to be them because they were showing, like you said, towards the end of the game, they had more legs than we did. I think too many players decided that they weren't going to turn up for this game. I thought Phillips, he keeps playing him in this right wing role. I don't agree with him playing that far high up because it's leaving us defence as midfield 2-on-3 all game, which means that Dobson had the vast majority of the ball. I mean, we aren't even getting challenged. I thought Connell and Russell played decent as a pair. To say they were up against three, I thought Russell won the ball back many times. I thought Connell played decent. Nowhere near is outstanding as outstandingly as he can play, but I thought he was all right. Bang average. Gent didn't really see him do much. Their right wing back firmly had him sorted out for majority of the game, especially in attacking aspect. And I just thought that they played better than we did, especially in that second half. That second half really showed. Um, yeah, it's gutting because we have a few good performances, start getting upbeat, and then we go on this lull where players just can't seem to do anything. It's something that needs sorting out in January. If you're not going to go out there and spend the money to get in good players, then get some good bench players in, get some loan players in, do something, because at the minute everybody wants to go out and blame the coach. I get it, right? He's the man that sets the team up. He's the one that does everything, but he can only do well with the tools he's handed. And at the minute, there's too many of them tools are not showing up every week in week out. I don't know where Cotter's gone. You know, because O'Keefe seems to be playing every minute at every game and never getting a break. It's we've got no left wing back, so against playing every minute of every game, and we're having to play Josh Earl, who's okay as a left wing back, but no spectacular. Like you say, if he's played 120 minutes and then he's asked to play left wing back for the last 20 minutes of the second game of the week, it's it's not great. It's not great. And with Carly, I don't know what this kid needs to do to get it to get be able to come on. I mean, it was clearly that we needed some legs in that midfield in the second half, and he just never got it. He just never got a chance. DKD, a lot of endeavour, a lot of movement, but ultimately, he's just not doing enough when he's on the ball. I don't see him picking ball up, driving at players. Only player that does that is Humphries. But when he's playing up front on his own, he can't do that. He needs to play deeper to do that. You need to play Cosgrove up front, or you need to play Waters up front. Somebody that's a proper striker, bona fide striker, needs to play up top, and then let Humphries get the ball deeper so he can run at the defence. He can pick the ball up sooner, and same with Phillips. He's the only player that can drive from midfield with the ball forward because Connell doesn't do it, Russell doesn't do it. De Givney tries as much as he may fail, but when he's playing so high up, he can't pick the ball up, quick enough to be able to do anything. So by the time we're going to final third, there's no movement. Nobody's moving to try and get in a good position to do anything, and it just fizzles out. It's flashing back to 2 years ago when we just looked shell shocked at final third again. We really need to start working on some patterns of play, working on us crossing, please, for 10% accuracy last night. 10. These are professional footballers. I cannot put a crossing. It's mental for me. And yet again, I thought the subs were too late. It faced Jallo on. Jallo showed a bit of endeavour. Actually closed down, which we stopped doing completely. So, but yeah, again, it's got to be end product with Jallo. We've got to start seeing something, finish. But there's just a big huge question mark over a lot of squad at minute and whether they're doing enough, because last night just wasn't the game that any of them really sparkled except for Killip. And I think for the game that he had, there's going to be nothing but a black cloud of a really good performance from him, because I thought he was our best player by far. And it could have been a lot worse if he once didn't play so well. And that last goal, it could have been closed down. It could have been closed down. Pines ran and then stopped. I mean, it's like that meme that went around about me about when you just run and then you just start jockeying. Run up and try and get the ball. Don't run up and then try and block them. It's daft. It's daft. But hey, there we go.
It is a weird one, Trace, when you sort of look at the team because, like there's not really been that much change from Blackpool onwards. It seems like we found that settled side and a settled way of playing. And sort of like we've got the midfield three now of Connell, Russell, and Phillips that seems to work quite well. Humphreys, DKD up top seems to be working quite well. Georgie Jenkins on the left hand side seemed to have found his feet at this level. O'Keefe weirdly coming from nowhere and playing, but seemed to complement that system. And I saw yesterday everyone saying, "Oh, DKD and Humphreys up top don't work. That midfield three don't work." Like it worked 5 or 6 games ago. And when you sort of look at the balance of the Cambridge game, probably should have won that. Reading should have won that. Wigan, granted, poor performance, but then to come back, Bristol Rovers should have won that. I think a lot of it is down to the results aspects of it. Because I don't think the performances have been necessarily terrible between them games, and I don't think we've really been massively inconsistent either, barring the Wigan game where he chucked one in, which I think, yeah, I think you're just gonna get that in sort of Darrell Clark's first season. It does feel a little bit weird. I saw a lot yesterday of saying, well, the midfield don't work, up front don't work. But what really have we got to change it? The only real change we can make at the minute is Emma Carley for any of the midfield three.
Yeah, I think if you asked the majority of fans that watch that team week in, week out to pick a different 11, I'm not sure anyone could, other than Noah Carley, who's, yeah, he has, to be fair, he's played really well when we've seen him. He didn't start with, but he does show that he's got some clear potential. I don't know how fit he is. That seems to be a factor. He certainly was. But yeah, I mean, other than that, though, I don't think anyone's sort of saying, "Oh, get Cosgrove starting," because he's not doing anything when he's coming on either. I have a disagreement with Craig. I don't think we were out. I don't think they work much harder than us. I don't have a problem generally with our effort and endeavour, certainly in the last few games. And I don't particularly think yesterday. I didn't look last night. There were some off days, definitely. The big players didn't stand up. Phillips is a key one to pick because he's probably one, if not the best, probably one of our top 3 players in terms of ability and what he's got and what he's shown over past seasons. But he tends to not start playing until January, and he's certainly going along with that. So, but I don't think they were that much better than us. I don't think they worked that much harder. I don't think anything. They got a very, I won't say fortuitous goal because we gifted it to them, but other than that, I don't think they were that much. It's just that we have got zero quality in the final third. And now is that because the coaching's poor? They're not, because they're certainly in the last few weeks not getting any better. The crossing is definitely poor. Although from corners, we tend to put good balls in and we don't seem to win anything anyway. You know, you look against Bristol, how many crosses did we put in the box? How many long throws? And we don't seem to, well, we just don't punish teams. So again, I think you have to look at the coaching and say why we're not getting better at these situations. But I don't actually know what he can change really. The formation to what? We haven't really got any proper fullbacks. So I'm a bit of a loss. I think at the minute we've got a bit of a mental crisis. I think that's more of an issue, and I think that's where it's falling down. We talked about it a lot on Sunday in the reaction show about will it affect them, all these chances that we keep missing, and I think the answer is yes. It seems to be, because we just do not seem to be playing with the confidence that we should be playing with. And Humphreys is the best example of that, I think, because he seems to be really, really frustrated from the start. So, yeah.
I think just building on that, Al, of what Tracy just said there, especially confidence, I think the player behind you there, right behind Jed, Adam Phillips, almost seems like one of those players if he just needs one to go in. Because, I mean, correct me if you're wrong, he's probably still our top goal scorer this season.
5.
I'm not sure. Keeler Dunn's probably next, I imagine, next to him, or the closest to him. So the end product is there within him, and he's a threat from more or less inside 25 yards. He's a threat from anywhere. But it almost seems at the minute like we're trying to overplay it a bit too much. And like I said, sort of it almost shown in that first 5 minutes when Keeler Dunn, he got the opportunity, got the space to shoot, but didn't, and tried to beat his man again. And then almost run out of options and ideas, as opposed to earlier in the season, if that's Adam Phillips is hitting it first time and it's probably going to go in.
It isn't it? I think they're taking extra touches, trying to be more to be clinical that way, but they need to be clinical by just snatching and trying to go for it. I mean, it says something when his leading goal scorer at this point in season has only got 5 goals. You should be somebody in a side now, should be in double figures, in my opinion.
And a midfielder.
Hey?
And a midfielder.
Yeah, whatever, Craig. But we should be. We should be at the moment. We're somebody on our team, or at least on 10 goals, and we're not clinical. We're not getting balls in from midfield or wide to give players a chance to score. And I fear what's coming. I really fear what's coming. And especially with Birmingham coming on now, and I mean they've only lost 2, I think. I know we'll go on to Birmingham, so it's another big test, and let's see where that takes us. They've got to bounce back, as I say. If not, it's going to be 6 without a victory. So we've got to really look at ourselves, and I'm assuming they'll have all been in. Not in today, but tomorrow they'll be in and looking at it and picking up the pieces and going over it and trying to regroup and reassess and be up for it because it's going to be a sellout, I think, at their end. So we've got to be up for it. And I just hope that they take on board what the problems are and they can somehow sort it out between themselves and get the confidence back. And it's got to turn around at some stage, and we've got to go on a run at some stage. But at the moment in time, we're sloughened, aren't we? And the fans who travelled yesterday to Wrexham, I think they deserved a lot more, and they've been travelling in the thousands to support them, and it's not working out at the moment.
No, it is. It is a bit of a confused one. I know one thing for me, Craig, yesterday, it really highlighted the importance of wing backs in Dal Clark's system. Sort of when like O'Keefe a little bit off the boil a couple of times yesterday, wasn't found when it made good runs to get in behind. It sort of showed the importance of getting the ball out wide and quickly. For me, there were a few times, I think it was in the first half, where it was probably his furthest player forward and he either wasn't picked out or, as I think there was one time where someone did find him and he miscontrolled the ball, it went out for a throw in. It was a little bit frustrating to see sort of the annoyance of that. And there's no one on the bench then to come and replace him because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Cotter wasn't selected yesterday in terms of on the bench either.
No, what's really annoying is because every time we've seen us play well this season, wing backs have been fundamental to us victory, whether that's overlapping and the play's been faster. Yesterday it was sluggish, it was slow, we weren't picking the right passes. The players, for me, I think we're going too direct too soon. I feel like we're just going up to Humphries and hoping he can control it, bring it down. But when you're up against 3 strong defenders, you're not going to win. He's not going to win the ball. I think we need to take a bit more time in trying to build up play. Try and pass the way through midfield and work his way out that way. I think as defenders can back up as wing backs a little bit more than they do. They seem to stay back as a flat 3 rather than being able to rotate. I'm not saying overlap. I'm just saying back up. Like I say, I think Adam Phillips and Keeler Dunn are too far up, trying to support Humphries. But if he's not winning the headers to knock it down to him, it just seems pointless. I'd rather drop them 2 and get them helping, making a boxing midfield, if you like, and being able to pass it round. And that way we can beat teams with the numerical advantage in midfield. We need to work on getting the ball up the pitch because at the minute, unless we hit it long, it's not doing it. We need to get the ball out wide fast. I mean, look at what Phillips were doing a couple of games ago to George again. He did it about 4 or 5 times. That caused problems. I mean, the switch of play was so fast. We stopped doing it. I think playing in with Carly could be fundamental to that because whenever I've seen him play, his balls out to O'Keefe have been brilliant. Allowing us to get up the pitch that way. I think we need to just be a bit more open minded, because at the minute it's just like ball from Dujivne or Earl straight up to Humphries, and that's it. And Will is losing all the time because he's up against centre backs whose job it is to defend aerially. And we all know Humphries is best with the ball at his feet, and we're not playing to his strengths. Also, Keeler Dunn's a nippy little player who was good at 1-2 passages of play, being able to move up front field, and we're not. I mean, we just tell him to stay out on left wing. That's not helping him out either. He needs to be able to roam and affect play, and he just seems lost at times. I Same with Phillips. I think playing him in that right wing slot is best when he picks the ball up in midfield and runs with the ball up the pitch. And he's starting too high to be able to do that. So there's a few things, and I think Clark needs to start looking at player strengths and work towards that. Find out what's working, because at the minute it just seems to be like, this is where I want to play, and come rain or sun, this is what we're doing. We're going to play like Cosgrove's starting up top every game, so we're just going to lump it forward. When Humphries is up there, you're not going to get the same result.
This is certainly a tricky one. Get your thoughts on last night's game down in the comments below. Again, a little bit of I think it summed up quite nicely, of not exactly a classic, and as a neutral, you wouldn't have thought it were two sides sort of at the top of the table. But yeah, get your thoughts on that one, because it feels like a little bit different compared to the other ones that we've played recently, where we've been a little more dominant and a little bit more structured in the way in which we've played as well.
I don't think we won any American fans with that game anyway.
It's certainly not Danny DeVito of all people as well.
Definitely not.
Right, so Birmingham at the weekend. So looking at the stats pack, so Chris Davis in charge, top scorer at Jay Stansfield on 9 this season, sat third in the league, but they do have 2 games in hand over Wrexham, and maybe actually 3 over Wrexham and 2 over Wickham, which I think if they win all of them, they will go joint on points to Wickham at top. Form, 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss in the last 5. And key player, by far my favourite name so far this season, is William Williamson from
Willem,
Ireland.
you pronounce it, Josh? I think it's Willem.
100% that's how you pronounce it, but when it's written down and looks like William Williamson, it's by far my favourite name. Playing a 4-2-3-1, and key stat is that they've played the least amount of games this season with 15. They're only side that have played 15 games this season. So Tracy, I think pre-season, I think all of us, barring Tom maybe, said Birmingham were going to win the league. When you look at the amount of money that's spent this season, the amount of investment, Birmingham fans think they're going to win the league and walk the league. You look at that side and sort of 15 million quid on Jay Stansfield, which is probably I think it's more than we've ever spent ever on a player. It's probably more than our combined budget at last 15 seasons.
Probably more than the whole of League One spent in that transfer window, I think.
Yeah. When you look at the amount of money in which they're throwing around, it's almost as though anything less than first place is probably a little bit of an underachievement. And they have set about this league the way in which everyone sort of expects them. I know fans were a little bit like, it's not as easy as you think, but I think when you chuck that much money around, it should be.
Yeah, when they signed Jay Stansfield for that much money, I mean, at the time we were all hoping that he was going to sign on loan to somebody, and we were keen that, we're going to get him on loan, and then they threw that money around, and you were like, wow, yeah, that said a lot of things. And if they don't get automatic promotion, then wow, that's the biggest catastrophe I think we've ever seen in League One history. Yeah, they're doing what you would hope, and you don't even need to mention that they've got Alfie May as well, that is last 2 seasons leading goal scorer in the league. So they've got an abundance of riches, and they're doing exactly what I expected them to, and what everyone expected them to do, really. They're playing Stockport tonight, which again is quite a big game for them at home, I suppose. So if I don't say anything but a win for them there. And then, yeah, they all come marching into Barnsley, 5,000 Birmingham fans to hit the Christmas market on Saturday, I think. So yeah, it's all good. It's going to be tough. The way that we're playing, the mindset that we're in, the mindset the fans are in, it's going to be a tough day at the office, I envisage.
Yeah, certainly not going to be It's not really the easiest game, Al, but I think looking at it, as you mentioned earlier, only lost two this season, Birmingham, drawn three, and it seems like those poorer results have come more recent rather than they have in the beginning part of the season where they set off like an house on fire. Whereas now it's almost like a bit of a better time to play them potentially, given that they've been a little bit stop start over the last few weeks.
It could be. It could be. I've just seen team now what they put out tonight against Stockport. Alsop, Bellick, Clara, Davis, Cochrane, Senghu, Iwata, your mate, Williamson, Stanfield, Anderson, and Alpha May up front. So, they're putting a strong side out.
When you look at that bench, have they got Lyndon Dykes and Djukovic on bench?
I'll just have a look for you. Just bear with me, Tracy.
I'll tell you what, this is absolutely outrageously quick reporting here from Al.
Yeah,
Brings
because
you live team sheet.
Tracy. Just bear with me.
I didn't think we were going to get full 11 though. I thought you were going to tell us like key players who were playing.
Right.
Just
goal, Lyndon Dykes.
Is it on bench?
Matt Leonard, Luke Harris, Ethan Laird, Taylor Garnickman, and Bailey Peacock Farrell on the bench tonight.
Mark Leonard on bench as well. Wow.
I mean, you look at when we talk about our bench and we're like, oh, we've not got a lot to change.
I mean, that says it all. That shows our weakness. They've got strength in depth, and we've got no strength in depth. So it's not going to be easy. I just hope that we can bounce back from the fact that we've not won in 5. We don't want to go 6 without a victory or points. So to be honest, for me personally, we've got to put that run behind us, and also on Saturday, put the curse of Oakwell behind us and get a victory. It's going to be a tough one, but who knows? You know what I mean? Silly things happen in football, don't they?
Yeah, I think it would be very on brand for us to struggle at home and then go and beat a side that we think we've got more or less no chance against. But Craig, sort of looking at it for October, lost to Charlton, beat Bolton, beat Lincoln, then draw with Mansfield, draw with Northampton, lost to Shrewsbury, beat Exeter, and then beat Blackpool 2-1 in the cup at the weekend. It does seem like it's a little bit stop-starting, especially against sides you'd expect them to do well against. I know I was reading earlier that it seems like Birmingham struggle against sides who just sit in and don't come to attack them, which you'd imagine is going to be more of the lower teams, which it seems like they are actually struggling against that, such as the Northampton result and the Shrewsbury result, which I think Gareth Ainsworth's first game in charge at Shrewsbury as well.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm just looking at the team. It's an absolute joke. How the hell have they got this team in this league? It's Jukovic and Lyndon Dykes, Stansfield, Alfie May, Leonard. I don't know. I mean, it's just an abundance of riches. You know, even going into Ben Davis, who is like a championship player, stalwart. Ethan Laird, who were nearly in Premier League a couple of seasons back. I mean, their team's just, I mean, it's ridiculous. And to say that they're not smashing every team 4-0 in this league, I mean, you know, it's going to look good because, I mean, they're going to win the league by, well, they should. If they don't, then every player and every coach needs sacking the lot because, I mean, they've been throwing money around like this for years and years, and I don't know how they're allowed to do it because they never get anywhere. And the fans might be singing the name now, but a year ago they won't because they've gone on drab season after drab season after drab season. I mean, they're throwing money at everything, and they've done same again this season. If they do go up, you know, which I reckon they will, they've got a fantastic squad. It's just they never seem to be able to get anywhere with it all. But the game on Saturday, I mean, we're at home, so we're guaranteed to lose. We ain't going to sit back. We're going to play against them, so that's going to open us up. We can't just do anything in the final third, and we can't put in a decent cross, so we're not going to really affect them. It's just basically how many blocks can we get in? How good's Killip going to play? And that's all match boils down to for me. I don't think we're going to win. I don't think we're going to pray. We're not coming in with form. Players seem down. Like Gaffer said. They're just getting into form as they're coming to players. They're fetching 5,000 strong because our club loves to give away loads of tickets. We don't want to stuff them into a corner and keep them quiet. We've got to give them a whole stand all to themselves. So they'll be louder than us. Not looking forward to it, it's fair to say.
Stockport have just hit bar. After you've been saying all that, Stockport have just nearly scored.
Oh.
So
now that is live reporting.
It is live reporting.
It is.
It is live reporting. Stockport, they've just been under cosh, just launch it forward and thingy. So there is a chance, Craig.
I'm not holding much hope,
but not with our clinical nature at the minute. Tracy, as Craig mentioned there, unlikely that we'll sit in and sort of change the way in which we do play. But it almost seems like it might be a decentish option rather than trying to play sort of expansive and create them all. Sort of when you look at the goal we conceded against Wrexham yesterday, it was almost a little bit like we're half chasing the game, trying to go and nick it ourselves, and somewhat just got caught being lazy a little bit. So it could benefit from maybe a little bit more structured and compact and just try to get out on the break, because I do think we have got the players to try and do that. And if every now and again we do press and try to get forward on a counter, then we could potentially get a decent result.
Yeah, I mean, again, your key players are your wing backs in that situation, because if they play advanced, then there's holes. And I do think the back three in general have been really good the last few games. I think MDG, Earl, and Roberts have consistently played very well, which is good because they might need to. I can't see us sitting in. I just can't see us. I can't see him changing the way we play that dramatically. And if we did, I think fans would be unhappy that we actually did that, because I think then they'd see it back to Collins' era of boring football, which we haven't generally had. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good idea, and I think maybe to be a little bit more compact wouldn't hurt us, but I can't see it happening. I think we'll set off fast again. I think we'll go for them, and they may well pick us off. Or we actually score early on, and then things change, which I'm not so confident about that. Your mate Williamson.
William Williamson.
Yeah.
Willem.
He's centre midfielder, I believe, and I think he's like 4 assists, 4 goals, dictating play. So again, that puts pressure on sort of Connell, Russell, assuming that they both play, which I'm assuming they will. And again, a bit like Craig saying, if you do play Phillips and DKD advance, then that again would put pressure on us, I would imagine, because I think he probably will dictate play. So I think it's an option to sit in, but I just can't see it happening.
No, it's going to be just a conundrum. Do you reckon see much rotation from us against against Birmingham? Because you look at the amount of minutes that the first team's got sort of over the last 3 days, and we expect to see maybe Mwakali involved yesterday, but wasn't, and we more or less stayed with the same team that finished against against Bristol Rovers. So, do you reckon that he's going to go the same again, or do you reckon there's going to be a couple of changes coming up at the weekend?
I don't think he's got a lot of choice to change it, has it, really? Who can come in and make a difference? As we said, we ain't got nobody off bench, so I think there's only one change on Carly in for Russell, and leave it as it is. But I don't think he'll fetch him in against Birmingham. I think he'll leave the team as it was last night. But as I say, we've got to come out better. We've got to take the game, as I said, to Birmingham. We ain't got to worry about them. We've got to do his own job and hopefully get his shooting boots on. And what I want to see is DKD fire on all cylinders. We haven't seen the best of him. He's better than what I think he is, but he's got to get supply.
Certainly does. Craig, predictions. What do you reckon then to Saturday? Whilst I'll just freeze us for a second.
I'm glad you started with me, because mine's going to be worst.
I haven't frozen now.
No, you just frozen for 1 second then.
And I thought you spoke really fast at one point.
He did. He sounded like you're calling a horse race.
or doing a bidding war or something to get a car
Yeah.
auction.
So you just started presenting storage wars halfway through.
That's it. What do I think the score's going to be? I don't think you want to know, mate. I'm not. It's not going to be good. Um, I think we're going to get absolutely destroyed. I think it's going to be 4-0.
Oof. Positive. Tracy?
I am the ever optimist, and I tend very rarely to predict us to lose. However, I can't see us beating Birmingham, and I think we're going to lose 2-0.
At least it's a closer game.
Come on, at least have a scoring somebody.
Al?
Well, put it this way: a memory come up on my phone yesterday that 9 years ago we ended up going to Birmingham, and Birmingham flying then, and we stuffed them 3-0.
That when Craig Davis?
It was
Thoughts?
3-0.
Hat-trick?
It was a Christmas party. We were on train with them, and they were going up to Newcastle. We got to
Did they not invite you, Al?
and they were all on train, and they were going for
You
the
just went anyway.
Newcastle. Adam Hamill and Adam Davis.
We need to start having a story time in these, just for Al.
Well,
A story time with Al.
Well, look, I'm saying. There, look. I'm going mad. I'm going 3-0.
Oh, too.
Not to Birmingham. There's a blue shirt at back, but it's not to them. I'm positive. It's all going to change. We're going to put the curse of Oakwell to bed, and we're going to put us not winning a game in 6 to bed.
And we're going to score 3.
4-6. We are a win. So it might be the antibiotics talking.
Can I please have whatever you're having? Because I could do with loads of it in spades.
How strong are those antibiotics?
Oh, I hope you're right, Al. I so hope you're right.
Yeah. Honestly, I will buy you a pint if
I want
you're
the
right.
best. I need a win. It's the best medicine possible for all Barnsley fans. So I'm sending a prescription out there.
Well, from glancing at this first 10 minutes, this Stockport Birmingham game,
It's not looking good.
I'm not as impressed with him as I thought we were going to be.
They've completely dominated the first 20 minutes. I mean, Stockport keep getting ball and getting it straight back to them.
Here and they're watching a football match. I don't know.
Well, it's story time with Al. We had to give it time.
I'm not that impressed with him so far. You know what, Al? I just do think it's on brand for us to not be clinically in front of goal, and we'll have 4 chances at weekend and score 4, something stupid like that, and you'll just not see it coming. It does seem very on brand for us to do something like that. So that being said, I'm gonna go. We'll not keep a clean sheet. That's for sure. I'm going to 3-2 to us. I think we'll.
I will say
the
only thing I can see working our way is them throwing so many bodies forward that we get a counter attack, and Humphries gets a ball, and something happens, and we end up scraping a 1-0 because they're throwing everybody forward at 90th minute or something.
I think a lot of that's happened though. You look at Bristol Rovers, like the amount of defending they did, like blocks and challenges they got in. I thought yesterday, like Wrexham, I didn't think they were just robust and structured defensively. And like the 3 centre halves they had knew the job. It wasn't a case of, let's pass it out. It was like, let's get rid of it and just play percentages and get rid of it. And the other games, when Reading came forward and attacked, we looked dangerous then against them. It's more the sides that come and sit in and defend against us. Birmingham aren't going to come and do that. So there's going to be opportunities in this game.
Yeah.
That's just nature doing it.
I just don't think we've got anybody to take them chances, really.
Nah, I just
creating chances.
Recency bias.
Lower averages. Some of them chances have got to go in.
What is it? I wonder how many we've created now and not scored. When it's something stupid like, won't we already at plus 70?
I just wish we'd shoot. I'm sick of us trying to pass it. No,
did you not see that John Russell shot last night? It nearly ended up in England.
Yeah, that's John Russell, though. I've told him never to shoot again. I told him that last video I did. Stop shooting. Either low and hard or don't shoot at all.
That far, it ended up in Barnsley Market.
Yeah.
Don't we have something like 80 shots now? And
like
scored
DKD taking an extra touch. Whack it. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, I
That's what
don't
he's going to do on
know.
Saturday.
Hold on. Against Bristol Rovers, he miskicked. He got a good shot, DKD, and he swiveled and he missed ball totally. So that's why he wanted extra touch to make sure he hit it.
Saying I'm sure Johnny Russell's got a spoon on his right foot. We are how he gets it. He must have a pitching wedge. It's the right boot. He just keeps sending it into orbit. It'd be all right as a rugby player.
Oh, you heard it here first. Again, Al's predicting we're going to come good. Get behind him. And remember, it's Bring Your Scarves Day as well.
Oh, look at
I'm
that.
going to be bringing my crying bowl, my handkerchief and that. That's what I'm going to be bringing.
More cutted reporting there of Scarf Day and all. I'd not even seen that yet. Right.
I Open Doors put it on. So if you look on I Open Doors, Paul, it's Bring Your Scarf Day on
So
Saturday.
bring your scarves on Saturday. It will be cold.
Exactly. So it's a good use. Dual use.
Yeah. Although I've managed to go somewhere colder than that, because I'll be in Stockholm on Saturday. So I've managed to go get away from some winter sun and some warmth in Stockholm.
Hey, you might see Willem von Willemsen. Oh no, Iceland.
You're going to see his mum and dad.
Where's Von come from? Willem Von Williamson.
Is he called Pat? Has he got a middle
No,
name?
his middle name's Thor,
Oh, but
which is
even
an
better.
absolutely brilliant middle name. Brilliant
Even
middle name. Yeah.
Expecting big things from this guy.
Yeah, I'll be honest. That's what I'm thinking Birmingham's 2 is coming from. Thor.
Sorry, I'm just seeing Chris Hemsworth now. You said that.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine
Big
him in
Thor in
midfield.
Midlet Park. Yeah, so make sure to get your predictions down below. The New Mini League has just started, but Andy's not here, so I can't confirm, but I'm not sure how many people will be on 3 points or such, or a point. So there can't have been too many. So you still got every chance. And I've got to a post start, so I'm just going to spend the next 6 months predicting wild scorelines until one of them comes in, which will be great. Right, we'll be back on Saturday with an instant reaction outside the ground. Tom's back as well, isn't he, to record it?
He is.
And I'm just wondering on Saturday. I know I've got a late fitness test. I wonder if we'll see Gab Sutton make appearance on away at post. He's a Birmingham City fan, isn't he? So I'm assuming Gab might be there.
He manages to do everything though, but watch Birmingham City, which I respect that.
And Andy made an appearance on his show this week as well.
Yes, he did. That's why Andy's not with us tonight. Fatigued from all the talking and conversations he's been having.
Football League World, Gab Sutton, you know.
He's not too well at the minute. Gabe Sutton, check his Twitter.
Any deals or anything is available. You know, we could get him to come and
apparently
even with Andy Simcox.
He says he's medically deficient at the minute, Gabe Sutton.
No.
So
get well soon, Gab.
Yeah, get well soon, mate.
But yeah, if anyone does need Andy Simcox booking out for Christmas dues and an evening with, let us know. Tweet us, and we'll see if we can find some time.
We'll probably just get his wife
in his ever filling up diary.
Still Simcox. He's not just. I will tell you who it is. I'm not just going to say it's Arsu.
Certainly is. Right, we're back on Saturday with our instant reaction to a impressive win against Birmingham City. If I put it out there, it might happen. We'll see. We'll see you there, you Reds.